Okay, a couple things before we get started. Number one, this will work without a global color. I have ulterior motives for asking you to use global colors, and we'll get to that later in projects down the road. I want you to get used to these and the power behind global colors. Second thing is, under View, snapping needs to be off. If one of these is checked, it's not going to work when we start duplicating our cubes, our isometric cubes. So smart guides can be on, but snapping needs to be off. No check marks here. Got it? I can't stress how important that is because this will not work. Scotch-Go, these don't line up. We're working to the 10,000th of a pixel. Okay, crazy math. Just trust me on this. Now, it doesn't say don't use a stroke. Don't use a stroke. Because if you use a stroke, strange things happen and we can get around it. But for right now, it's just an extra complication that we don't need. Let's pick a color. I'm just going to work with these web colors here, and I'll pick this orange color because that's what I've been doing in Valhalla, vibrant orange and sparkling white. So we want to create a new swatch. Now there's all kinds of ways to do this, but I'm just going to click and drag this thing down. Click and drag this thing down in order to add a new swatch. Then double click on it to bring up the swatch options. And then click on global in order to make this a global color. Not selecting add to my library because we're just fooling around. Let's click OK. And I want you to notice something. See this square? That square? This square? This square? Click OK. And notice that square looks the same and that square looks the same, but look up here at this swatch. Do you see that corner? It's got a little white triangle. And if we look over here at our swatches, this one has a little white triangle. That means it's a global color. And if I switch back over this project, I've made a whole bunch of these with global colors because when I want to change the color, it's so much easier. I don't have to select everything. I just need to, well, I do have to select everything, but it's so much easier to change those colors. So for right now, with that global color and no stroke, how many of you are going to have a stroke when you do this? Okay, so watch right here when I click on this button. Boom, a lot of things happened. And when I click away, and I zoomed in, so just in case you're wondering, because this is actually, if I hit Command 0 and Command minus, that's how big it is. Okay, and that's where it happened. Click away, click on that, and boom, 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 a whole bunch of things happened. Hold on the space bar, the Command key, drag right. Let's watch this one more time. Click and throw that away. Click. And some of you might be saying when you deselect, that looks like a hexagon. Yes, it's a perfect hexagon. It's made of 3 different faces. And the way that isometric art works is that you create the illusion of 3D by changing the tint on 2 of the faces. Now, tint means add white, shades are add black. We're going to tint these using this swatch right here. And if you hover over this, you might notice it says, hold the Shift key to bring up the alternate color UI. So if I click once on this, I just get swatches. If I hold down Shift and click, I get this slider, which lets me change the tint to add white to that. And I can click and say, whoa, now that looks different. If I click here and Shift click and pick a different color and click away, you say, well, yeah, that kind of looks like a cube, but it looks really weird because these are so much lighter. That's why I made these so you could test in real time. I'm going to click on this and click 70 and this one and click 85. And now we have the illusion of 3D depth. It's isometrics. If this were in perspective, this horizontal line, or this diagonal line, this one and this one would all converge on a single vanishing point out here. And this side of the cube's top would be shorter than this side. But because this is isometrics, all these lines are parallel to one another and it's not true perspective. That's the difference between isometric and true perspective. Okay, you got that? But for right now, we've created a cube. And because some of you are going to go like that and then try to put it back, oh, is that back? No. Hit Command Z, Command Z. Okay, don't try to move anything back. And to protect yourself, the best thing you could do right now, select all three faces, hit Command G. You know, Command G as in group. I hit Command Z to undo. With everything selected, you can right click and say group. You can come up to object and select group, or you could just hit Command G because we group all the time, and Command G is so easy to remember. Now when you click on something, it all moves together. Shift Command G with everything selected, ungroups it, and then when you click away, you can now select things. So get used to being able to group and ungroup with those shortcuts because we're going to be doing it all the time. Let's come back. Let me show you a couple cool things about changing the color.